I actually love this yellow top. I was so worried. This is what I made yesterday. Did you have to wee or poo at all? You're so annoying, Dad. I genuinely feel the difference. 26.2 miles in 2021. Yeah, I basically just hate more. Look at this sunset. Do you think running despite the injury was the right choice? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. So this vlog is basically a marathon recovery vlog. I'm going to talk to you guys about how my body's feeling and, you know, all of my thoughts post marathon. And you guys sent in a lot of questions on Instagram about like running and training in the marathon itself, so I'm going to be answering a lot of those as well in this video. So basically that morning I woke up quite late. I have been enjoying my lions at the moment and I was just going to get dressed to work out. This looks like a crumpled mess right now, but I'm just gonna shove on my new favorite shorts. Love these things. This yellow t-shirt because I love this as well. I haven't actually worn it before yet officially, and then I'll just shove on tracksuit bottoms and a jumper over the top whilst I just talk to a friend. So I will be giving you guys an update regarding my injury in this video. However, on Thursday, so the day before I filmed this, I did do a strength training workout and that was my first workout back since the marathon. And so today I just went on my spin bike, which my physio said was okay to do even with my Achilles injury because it won't aggravate it and it's really quite low impact. And then after that I came up to my room and just did a bit of strength training. I spent about half an hour to 40 minutes on my bike and then I just did about half an hour of strength training, so my workout in total was like just over an hour, I would say. It's like raining. It's like chucking it down pretty much. Well, actually, that's an exaggeration, Holly. But we have just finished our workout. I actually love this yellow top. I think it's so great. At the start of the week, I thought my Achilles might have snapped because it still does feel a bit like an elastic band. It's gotten so much better over these past 2 days, hence why I've decided to do a bit of a workout. But I'm just gonna get changed now, go downstairs and have like proper breakfast. I had some food before I worked out, but now I'm gonna have my proper breakfast. And yeah, I always do this. I actually really like it though, so I'm not even gonna apologize and stop doing it. So this is what we're wearing, the Organic Basics yellow or mustard coloured tracksuit, and yeah, we are cozy and we love it. We love this tracksuit. So I just made myself a classic Holly Green smoothie. This is my ice pack that I've been using, and I'm just gonna ice my foot now basically. I also have a tea towel. We just like wrap the ice pack in the tea towel and then I'm just gonna whack my foot on my desk. I'm just gonna tie a hairband to kind of like keep it semi-tight. So that is the ice around my Achilles and I'm just gonna keep my foot on my desk. Let's not knock any of these mugs, that could be tragic. I've been icing my foot like around 2 to 3 times a day. I've been trying to do it really regularly, and now because like the inflammation is going down, I'm trying to still ice it a few times, but ice it and then apply heat. So I'll do that after I've iced it for about 15 minutes. I apply like deep heat, this kind of cream that you apply, and then it like heats up the affected area. But at the start of this week, I was so worried that my Achilles had like snapped or ruptured, because as I said, on Sunday, the big marathon day, at the halfway point, like 13 miles in, my Achilles pain was so sharp and I thought that it was like snapping. I didn't hear a pop or like a snap. So yeah, I was doing so much reading on Google, and you do kind of find yourself reading the worst on Google, you know, when you try and self-diagnose. But my conclusion now is that I don't think it's ruptured, because it has improved quite a lot over these past 2 days. So now I'm just gonna do some work at my desk whilst I drink my smoothie and stuff. But after that, we're gonna sit downstairs and I'm gonna answer some questions that you guys sent in on Instagram about like running or my training or the marathon itself, because you guys sent in so many questions. I honestly didn't realize you'd have so many. But yeah, we're gonna answer a ton of questions. I still cannot get over how good a day it was. Like honestly, it was one of the best days of my whole entire life. Obviously it was so tough physically and mentally, but if you're thinking about signing up to a marathon, I would just say go for it because it's just so rewarding. But yeah, as I said, I did some work at my desk and then I applied deep heat. The sensation is kind of weird at the start, but I have used it quite a lot in the past, and so I've just kind of used to it. This is what I made yesterday. It's kind of like a black bean tahini tomato thing, obviously. I love leftovers. I love, like, why is there washing in the background of my video? I think I'm gonna have it for dinner, but I just wanted to show you guys. Look how good that looks today. It smells even better. I wish you could smell this. I think I'll save this for later. For dinner. So we're in our favorite place to sit and chat, which is downstairs. I am going to answer some of your questions, well, hopefully a lot of them. Would you travel outside of the UK to run a marathon? Yes, want to do more. Like, I feel like I've got the marathon bug, similar to the traveling bug after I came home from Australia. Like, I 100% want to do more marathons in the future, other running races, and so yes, I would travel out of the UK to do a marathon. And you get to see another place if you travel as well, so yeah. A lot of you guys asked about like my training plan and whether I could post it. I did say, and I mentioned at the start of my training, that I had a running coach, and I did have a running coach. However, I didn't actually complete all of my training with a coach, just because in the first 2 months of me training, I had a foot kind of issue. It was a slight niggle, but it was something that meant I couldn't run as much as I was hoping to, and so I wasn't really getting much out of the coaching. So basically started with a trainer or a coach, but I decided that 2 months in I would not have a coach anymore and I would just follow a set plan. And that plan I got in an email that I had from Virgin, because Virgin obviously host the London Marathon. They sent like a beginner's training plan. They then called the intermediate one the improver plan, and then they had an advanced one, and I basically followed the improver plan, so the kind of like intermediate one, and I felt that that was perfect for me because it stretched and challenged me, but it wasn't too advanced, you know. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a beginner runner, but I didn't want something that was gonna be too much for my body. And then around that I was doing my own kind of like strength training, and I was going on my bike a few times, sometimes just to spin out my legs. And if you want to see like a full week of what my training looks like, I did film a week of workouts. Would you ever run a longer distance? Yes. You know, I'm never going to turn things down. It's just whether I feel as if I have enough time to dedicate to training, you know. But yeah, I would love to. Did you listen to music or podcasts as you were running on the day? So as you guys know, I run when I do my longer runs. I listen to music sometimes, but I usually listen to podcasts just to keep my mind distracted and entertained. On the day, for the majority of the run, I wasn't listening to anything. I just wanted to embrace the atmosphere. It was amazing, as I said. However, there were 2 points when I started my music when it wasn't very busy and I needed some extra motivation. So basically I'd set up a playlist with like 3 songs which I just play on repeat. However, I didn't have it playing for very long. It was literally like 15 minutes or something. How did you carry your water when running? How did you find best to hydrate? So on the day I was just picking up water and I was just carrying it, and because I had carried water with me on like 3 of my long runs in my training, I was used to just carrying a bottle, and I'm used to carrying my GoPro as well, so it doesn't really bother me. However, most people would just like grab water, drink a bit, and then pour the rest over themselves and chuck it. However, I would like sip some and then hold it. And if I'm training again, as I said in my actual video, I need to drink something more than water, because otherwise I'm just flushing out the salt and the electrolytes from my body, and I think that's why I ended up with really bad cramps at the end and feeling really dizzy and nauseous and everything like that. They were also offering Lucozade. However, I was just so scared that because I hadn't had Lucozade during my training and for a really long time, I was just like, what happens if that upsets my digestion, you know? And I didn't want to change anything. I was so adamant that I was going to do everything to the T. I also should say, answering these questions, like, I have done a running Q&A on my channel before. I'm just someone who runs for fun. Like, I'm not a professional at all. I just enjoy running. Did you ever get runner's knee? I don't know exactly what runner's knee is, but I feel like my knees were a bit stiff after my longest training run of 35k, and then that was coming up to like the end of my training, and because I did get my injury, I feel like that was a blessing in disguise, because yes, my taper week did suddenly, you know, go from like everything to nothing, but it meant that it gave my body the rest it needed before the race. Which gels did you try? Which did you end up using in the end? So I only ended up trying and using one. They were the High Five Apple Energy Gels, and they were caffeine free, just because I don't normally have caffeine, and again, that could have like upset my digestion, but they worked really well for me. I really liked those. In the future, because they are plastic, I would maybe look to try something that wasn't plastic. I know you can get more sustainable gels and running fuel type things, so yeah, that might be something I research in the future. What was it like working with a running coach? Whether you have a coach or a plan, I think it's good because it holds you accountable and it means that you have a set structure. However, with a coach, I sometimes felt like I was putting too much pressure on myself because I had a coach and I felt as if I needed to perform to my best, you know, even if I wasn't feeling that great. However, you know, with anything, you always have good days and bad days, good runs and bad runs. And so I just felt so frustrated with myself when I'd have a bad day and a bad run and my coach would see that data. I don't know, I don't know whether I really liked it as much as I thought I would. Can someone who doesn't run usually be able to train and run a marathon? So I think anything is possible, you know, if you train properly and if you give yourself enough time. The thing that I loved about the London Marathon, you know, like, yes, it is a race, but I didn't feel as if I was competing against anyone else. And I didn't even feel as if I was competing with myself. It was just so much fun and it was so inclusive. Anyone can run, yes, but I would make sure that you like get some advice or get someone to help you and just make sure you are looking after yourself, because running is like, it's not easy and it's physically quite demanding, or very demanding for your body, especially marathon training. Dad has entered the ballot for next year because he wanted to, and we've actually also entered Mum, which is so funny. Like, Mum does not run at all. It is going to be so hilarious if Mum gets in next year. What was the hardest part in training? I think sometimes it was just like overcoming that mental barrier, you know, thinking that I have to run like 35 kilometers today, which sounds really crazy, and especially when you have to do that on your own, it's quite difficult to find that motivation sometimes. But when you're actually out and doing it, I think it's so much easier. You know, it's with anything, once you get started, it's so much easier than actually trying to start. I'm changing the angle, okay? What running background did you come from before you started training? So I have run for actually a really long time. I did like cross country in school, for example, and I really enjoyed doing that. And for a long time, I just run as a form of like fitness, and because I did enjoy it. I have run for the wrong reasons in the past. However, I only started to see like improvements when I was following this plan. You know, when I was like not just doing the same run every time I'd go out on a run. When I started to do like interval training and tempo runs and longer runs, basically when I started to add variety to my running training, that is when I saw improvement. And I think other things that helped me were fueling my body properly. Obviously I have gained weight, and with that I've gained power and strength to run faster and to run for longer. And I also think that spin biking helps me. Like, I do a lot of interval stuff on my spin bike, and that also helps me, you know, gain speed, and it helps me get used to going from one pace to another quite quickly. How did your food intake change when you started to train for the marathon? So yeah, I basically just ate more. I have always been eating a lot of carbohydrates, but I'd eat more like fats and make sure I was getting enough protein, especially after my runs, to repair my muscles. Have you run other races before? Like, is it different or hard to run with lots of people? I've only ever done some cross-country races back in school, but they were a very, very, very long time ago. So yeah, I wasn't used to running in like a race setting. I thought I might have done a park run before the race. I was planning to do a park run on the Saturday before the marathon on the next Sunday. Not like the day before, but like the week before. However, obviously I was injured and I couldn't do that. I actually just thought it was quite motivating to run with others and really fun to see other people doing the same thing as you. You know, you were all doing the same thing, and at the end of the day, you know, everyone runs the same distance. And as I said before, that's why it didn't feel competitive at all, because you're not there to compete with anyone, you're just there to run the marathon. Okay, somebody asked, how long did it take you to train, and how long do you think it would take a complete newbie? I literally don't know the answer to the second question. I'm not even going to try and answer that, because as I said, I'm not a coach or professional myself. But in terms of how long it took me, so I was properly training for 3 months. As I said, I did have a bit of a foot issue before, so that kind of held me back. What shoes did you wear? So on the day I was wearing my Asics Nova Blasts. They have now gone because they are not fit for running in anymore. The soles are completely flat, they were just completely worn. But I am going to start training next in New Balance shoes. Right, we're moving back here, okay, sorry. What surprised you the most about marathon training? I think I was just so shocked at the fact that my body was capable of running certain distances. And secondly, I was so shocked at how fast I ran for the majority of the race, like up until mile 20. I was so shocked that I was sustaining paces of like 450, 440 per kilometer. Like, I was just like, wow, Holly, I didn't realize I had that in me. What's your next goal? So I don't know specifically right now. Oh, actually, my next goal is to get my Achilles better. But I do want to have another goal because I just think it's so fun to work towards these goals. This isn't a question, but somebody was like, Holly, you are wearing 2 watches, basically asking like, why am I wearing 2 watches? So I have always used my Apple Watch. However, like 2 weeks before I was gonna run, I was sent across Pace 2 GPS watch to try. That is so accurate, and I was like, I have to wear this on the day. So I was like, I'm just gonna wear 2 and get 2 readings, you know. And yeah, it's so light as well, like I didn't even feel it on my wrist. Do you post on Strava? I do have a Strava account, but the reason why I don't post on Strava is because I don't want to share my location, just obviously for like privacy reasons. But if there is any way I can post on Strava and not show my route, I would love to know that if anyone knows, and then I will start posting on Strava. Does the marathon feel long? 3+ hours can feel quick or long depending on what you're doing. The first 17 miles especially were so fast. They were over in like a flash. I remember seeing the 17-mile mark and I was like, what? I've done 17 miles already? But then I hit 20 kilometers, and then after that it felt so long, like crazy long. I don't know how I did it, but I managed to push through. I really want to talk about this, and I know it might be TMI, but I am willing to share this information. Did you have to wee or poo at all? So the answer to this question is no. I was so shocked that I didn't even need to go for a number 1, a wee, okay? However, to give you some context, there are toilets obviously at the start lines, and there are toilets every mile. This is the London course obviously, but I didn't go to the toilet once during my whole race. But I do have very bad wee nerves. I've always gotten wee nerves, and so on the day I again had wee nerves. Basically I had to kill like over an hour before we actually set off. At my start line, the red start line, there were loads of toilets, but the toilet queues were honestly ridiculous. I knew I wanted to go to the toilet like 15 to 20 minutes before we were going to set off, so that meant it was going to be like 9:30. So I spent my time waiting around in toilet queues, just jumping between different toilet queues, trying to get the timing right. So it meant that I would get to the front of the queue at like 9:25, I'd go to the toilet, and that would be it, you know? And I know it sounds ridiculous and so stupid, but I was so paranoid and I had such bad wee nerves. And then in terms of the pooing situation, I basically had my usual oats in the morning, like my oat shot with jam, and kind of like very soon after that I needed to go for a shit. And I was so happy, like I've never been happier to sit down on the toilet and go for a pee, because it meant that after that I probably wouldn't need to go again until later on in the day. Like that is just how my digestion works. Leading up to the race, that week before, I was really trying to get myself into a routine. So like eating at the same time roughly the evening before, and then having my oats in the morning, and then, you know, making sure that I was carb loading obviously. I am starting to get very hungry now, so we're gonna move into the kitchen. So a lot of you guys asked about like food and marathon training as well. So I do have a recent what I eat in a day video on my channel, and I also have a few Instagram reels, so you can check those out. And I will be filming a what I eat in a day video, and it will be coming out on my channel very soon after this one. This is one of my go-to favorite snacks. It's like rice cakes with nut butter, banana and hemp seeds. It's so simple but so good. And definitely let me know if you have any particular food video ideas. You can leave those down below.
Go on, off you go.
We're at the physio.
How old are you?
23. Dad, I can't drive, and even if I wanted
Hang on.
I can drive.
Thank you.
And even if I wanted to try driving again, I can't with my Achilles injury right now, can I? Because pressing a pedal involves my Achilles.
Lame excuse.
That's not a lame excuse, Dad. If I'm not running, I'm not trying to drive. When are we going to get your morning routine?
Never.
You're so annoying, Dad. Everyone wants it. Comment down below.
No one.
Who wants Dad's morning routine? They do.
No one gives a shit about my morning routine.
Language. Matthew doesn't want to do it either. Both of you are so annoying.
Well, look, then why don't you move on to another subject that's a bit more interesting than morning routines? How many times have you done morning routines? Goodness me, get some decent content and all this nonsense morning routines.
This is what I have to live with.
Get in there, smile for the camera.
No, it's authenticity. I'm not smiling. The good news is that my Achilles is not ruptured. It has not snapped. There's like this calf test that you can do to see if your Achilles has ruptured, and I passed that test, I want to say, as in the result means my Achilles it's not ruptured sort of thing. If it had snaps, like when my calf is like squeezed, my Achilles wouldn't move. It would just be like a dead foot. I'm just so happy. Look at Marcus' foot sticking up. What's your paw doing? And it's actually a lot better than I think it is. And my physio said it's a lot better than he thought it was gonna be. It is, yes, sore and like tender and still inflamed a bit, but I am doing all the right stuff, like icing it, heating it, resting it. I'm gonna start stretching it out, but no running. Obviously not. No running until it's fully better. That's good news, innit, Min? That's such good news. She had worms the other day. I really hope she still doesn't have them. We did worm her, by the way. I am gonna use my muscle roller and my massage gun. Like the muscle just above your kneecap, that has been so sore. I literally looked like an 80-year-old, okay, going up and down the stairs. But we are actually looking semi-normal again. You want a kiss on your nose? Okay. I banged on about my massage gun and my muscle roller, especially my massage gun, throughout my training. I genuinely feel the difference. It changed the game. Okay, she is slightly wary of this thing. Minnie! Yeah, okay, they cannot see with you there. This is obviously cheaper, but a massage gun just does so much more than you can do with this foam roller. I have had this pink foam roller for such a long time now, and I can leave a link to my massage gun down below as well. It's just this Hopozzo brand, and with marathon training, obviously you have to do your workouts, your runs, but recovery is also just as important, if not more important, and obviously that takes time in itself. So if you are thinking about dedicating time to marathon training, you just have to make sure that you are doing everything properly and really looking after your body. And for dinner, I basically had my leftovers. I had brown rice, which I normally have meal prepped, some veg, and obviously pickles, because pickles are my life. I love them so much. And yeah, we're jumping to Saturday, which was a very foggy morning. But I basically got myself ready that morning. I plaited my hair because I was going to be going into London later that morning. I kind of slept in again, but my body is still resting and it's totally fine. So yeah, I have tutoring this morning for 2 hours, and then after that I'm going into London to meet a friend at like 2:30. I'm meeting Izzy from Cambridge. Yeah, we haven't seen each other in such a long time because of lockdown and everything. Also, I'm going into London because today and tomorrow in the New Balance flagship store in London, so on Oxford Street, they're doing like free medal engravings. So the medal that you got from the London Marathon, you can get it engraved. They also did it on Monday, so the day after the marathon, but I didn't get into London on that day because I literally couldn't move. Mum and I were originally confused at what this actually means, but it says 26.2 miles in 2021, if you see what I mean. And then on the back it just has this hashtag we run together, the London Marathon logo thing. Yeah, I do have like quite a lot of medals from when I used to do dance competitions and stuff, but this one is just like really special because it's so different. So we're in London, and it's actually quite nice to be walking, not running, around London today. But essentially I finished tutoring early, so I've come into London earlier. Obviously, if you watched my first weekly vlog post masters, adulting week 1, Zara and I tried to go to Raw Press, which is the place I'm going to right now, but it was closed. I suggested to Izzy that we went to this place today, and so yeah, that's where we're going hopefully. It's like a vegan cafe thing and near Sloane Square, which is where I am right now. So this is Raw Press and this is the manager. I feel cheeky smile there. I basically got their cacao for now smoothie bowl. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you are in London, please try this place. It's so good, such a hidden gem. And then after that I went to New Balance. I had to queue for like near to an hour to get my medal engraved, but oh my gosh, it was so worth it, you guys. I just put Holly Gabrielle on it and my time of 3:37:39. Look at this sunset. Oh, the camera doesn't even do it justice, but look at this sunset. It was so busy in London today, and yeah, I just got the train home after I queued for about 45 minutes to get it engraved. So worth it. Hey, horsey. Hi. I'm not very good with horses, but hello. Okay, very bored of me. But yeah, it was a really fun day in London. Izzy is a really amazing friend to me. We don't see each other that often, but it never feels like that. And yeah, Izzy's a friend that I never thought I'd have. So yeah, shout out to Iz. She doesn't have social media and stuff, so she probably won't watch this. But it is currently 8 p.m. and I kind of want to bring this video to a close, but I also want to answer a few more questions because I was scrolling through them again and I was like, I want to answer some more questions, okay? The first one in part 2 of the Q&A is, do you think running despite the injury was the right choice? It obviously isn't ideal to run on any injury. Had I not like documented this whole journey, and if I was only running it for like myself, you know, and I wasn't raising money for a charity, I would have pulled out, just because, you know, there's always next year, there are other races, other marathons. So yeah, as I said, it wasn't ideal, definitely not. And if you do have an injury, my biggest piece of advice is to stop, rest, and get it better before you move on. I have been stupid in the past. I've just kept running and training for no reason, and it just makes it worse, okay? So please stop. What mile did it start getting really tough? So for me, as I said, it was mile 20 when I think I would say I hit the wall, as in I just could not speed up. I was just slowing down. As I said, it didn't help that I was just losing a lot of salt through sweat at that point. After the race, I had like salt dried all over my face. I didn't think I was sweating that much because the weather conditions were like perfect. It wasn't too hot, it was on the colder side, but yeah, it was mile 20. How many days per week do you run? So obviously I followed that training plan, and so for the majority of my training I was running 4 times a week. Towards the end though, I was adding in an extra kind of run on Thursdays sometimes, just because I was trying to build up my endurance and my aerobic base sort of thing, and it was just like an extra easy run. I would literally run for enjoyment really, because all of my other runs had like a purpose. It was like an interval run, a tempo run, a long run, you know. This run was just for me. Do you have any advice for people who have fallen out of love with running? I actually got this advice from a book. One second, let me get a book that I read that's really good. This book, Eat and Run, it is written by Scott Jurek, who is a vegan plant-based runner, ultra runner, really good at his stuff. It has recipes at the end of every chapter. I found it really hard to get back into running after my foot injury in 2020, but he said that, you know, if you do fall out of love with running, what you have to do is you just have to go out on a run for fun. Like, don't put any fancy gear on, any fancy gym wear, any clothing that you'd normally run in. Don't put a watch on, just go out and run. Go out for as long as you want, just like skip, run, walk, do what you want, just run for fun, for pure enjoyment, okay? Forget about what your head is saying, don't bring your ego with you, just go on a run for fun. And that is exactly what I did, and it brought back the joy for running. So yeah, that is basically everything for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This wasn't a weekly vlog, but in my weekly vlogs, if you do have any random questions literally about anything, feel free to comment them down below on my videos, because I answer a couple of questions that you guys send in at the end of those videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new for a lot more content and more videos, and obviously hit the bell so you know when I upload and you don't miss them. So that is everything from me, and as always, I will speak to you very soon in another video. Bye!